What's up, Bike Life gang? We are on the 2022 KTM 690 SMC R, and we're gonna do some thorough testing today. So see you after the intro. Guys, it has been an absolute roller coaster. First, my bike is at the shop, then I get it back, and then it's back at the shop again. Last week we tested the 390, and this week KTM was really nice and they gave me the brand new 2022 690 to test ride while my bike is at the shop. And you can see here it has 417 kilometers, so it's almost brand new. I need to be a little bit easy on the engine still, but we're definitely gonna test this thing today, so I'm really excited. We're gonna do the usual. We'll start in the city, then do some country roads, and then do some curves. And that should give us a good idea of all the elements that you can really put this bike through, except maybe the off-road part, but I think most people don't go off-road with their Supermotos that much. So we're going to test all of that, and I will get back to you once I'm a little bit out of the madness here. Before we get back on the road, I wanted to give you a quick walk around of the 690, the 2022 model. This is what it looks like. And actually what I love the most about it are the orange plastics. The 21 already had them, but they do look amazing and they're really neon, so definitely check that out in real life. And yeah, that's really it, guys. I'll see you back on the road. Alright guys, so that concludes the city portion of the ride. We just made it onto the highway. I intentionally kept the city portion quite short. That's because there's not much to test there. The bike does just okay in the city. You know, around the 50 km/h speeds, it's okay. It gets a little bit rough sometimes at the lower revs, just because the bike really isn't made for those speeds, but it does just fine. And I have to say, between my bike, so the 2020 model, and this one, there's definitely an improvement there. So in my case, I actually got the 15-tooth front sprocket so that the engine would stay a little bit more calm in the city. And I really wouldn't recommend that sprocket for this bike anymore, because I felt like it was just as calm. So that's definitely a plus point for the 2022 model. Now we're on the highway. I'm going at 94 in 5th gear and we're super smooth. So this bike definitely, in my opinion, is worthy of being a commuter, and it has always been. You know, I think it's just very nimble, easy to move around. If you get stuck in a traffic jam, you can easily move it in between cars to filter. You sit up high, you can see above everything. You feel in control. Overall, you know, highway speeds are just very easy for this bike, and it's running very smoothly. Now, when the traffic clears up a little bit and the bike is warmed up a little more, we'll do a bit of acceleration testing as well now. After all, we're on the German Autobahn right now, so we can go at any speed because there's no speed limit here. Now, while we're stuck here, something I have been noticing is that the front brake is actually quite a bit snappier, I feel like, on the 2022 model. And that will make sense because they, you know, it's a new set of, it's a new Brembo brake at the front and the back. It's just a new iteration. It's nothing completely revolutionary, but they did improve it a little bit, and I think I'm noticing that. Let's see if we can do some acceleration testing now. 4th gear, 80 km/h. Super smooth, super nice. I just I mean, I'm a fanboy of this bike, but yeah, to me this is just perfect. You have just enough power to feel super comfortable and safe on the highway. You can easily overtake or get out of any situations when you do need to accelerate. And what you saw just now, I'm not pushing the bike because it's still under 1,000 kilometers. So this was really taking it easy, and you know, it's no issue at all, even at the lower rev ranges. Okay, so we have made it onto the country roads now. So this part of the video is for all of you who are maybe not living near a big city, or perhaps you want to avoid riding on the highway and you mostly ride these kind of country roads. We're gonna test that now. So far impressions are very similar to the previous SMC Rs. Of course there's no massive difference, but it's like what I said before with the city as well. I just think it runs a little bit smoother. It's not vibrating as much, and also the engine is calmer at lower speeds. So that's definitely a little improvement. And overall, you know, I think these SMC Rs, they're doing super well in these types of scenarios. It's also on country roads, you're usually going between 70 to 100 kilometers an hour, and that's the kind of speed that these bikes like to be at. Now, something that is new since 2020 is that the 2021 and 22 models have the Euro 5 engine inside instead of the Euro 4. Basically that just means they comply to new EU regulations. And for the 21 model, a lot of people noticed that there was a bit of a dip in the lower rev range with that engine. And I have noticed so far that, or at least I believe that I've noticed the same on the 2022 now, although supposedly that was fixed for 2022. So I'm a bit surprised, but on the highway it just feels like it didn't pull as much. Now what I just said about the lower rev range, we're obviously gonna put that to the test in some twisties later. But for now it's really not a big deal, you know. I wouldn't say that the bike is performing worse or anything like that. It's just something that I noticed, you know, so nothing to worry about. Something else to mention for those of you who are new to SMC Rs, they are known to have very uncomfortable seats, and that still goes for the 2022 model. This has the stock seat on it, and I've been on it for roughly an hour now, and my bum is starting to hurt. So that's just also something you got to live with when you get one of these bikes. I have the power parts seat on mine, and that helps a lot. Now it starts getting really beautiful here. Really love this area. We're gonna ride by the water a bit, and just for now keep to a touristic pace and enjoy the views. Yeah, it's a little bit sleepy at the bottom for a while, and then suddenly it kicks in and you get just that extra power at the top. What I also like about the new models is the TFT, or actually it's not even a TFT I believe, but anyway, the newer display, because yeah, it's not a massive change, but it's quite nice to see that they have updated that, because now at least you have the gear indicator and it just looks a little bit more neat. Everything looks a little bit more tidy and also a little bit more futuristic, or at least not as outdated, I guess, as it used to look on the older ones. Alright, now let's put this bike through some curves, guys. And for now I'm only going to use the quick shifter. Okay, the bike literally just shut down there for a moment. I don't know if it was a problem with the quick shifter. But I'm definitely getting paranoid with these things now, since my bike broke down the other day. But yeah, the front brake definitely is more snappy. I'm not sure what happened there just now. I hope you could see it on the video, but I was, I think, shifting, I'm not even sure, I was just shifting up or down around the 4th or 5th gear, and suddenly the power just cut off for a moment. So not sure what happened there, but otherwise a really good feeling. Really enjoying the ride. I'm not going to use the quick shifter, just to make sure that issue doesn't come up again. This is what these bikes are made for. What an amazing ride, guys. What an amazing ride. Okay, so here are my impressions. I had to shut up there for a moment just to take everything in, but yeah, absolutely amazing. It's, you know, that's why I love my SMC R, but you know, it could be just in my head, but I feel like they did just improve it a notch again. So the good and the bad. First, let's start with the good. So the bike is just super smooth. When you lean it into the curves, it feels like it's just even more willing to lean and right through the curves. And maybe that's because of the improved vibrations and the countershaft that makes the engine more calm. It could be, I'm not sure, but that's just the experience that I'm getting. The biggest difference that I notice is really the lower end revs and the bottom end revs in the gear. So you saw me, perhaps some of you noticed it, that coming out of one curve I actually shifted down a gear so that I could really accelerate out of it, and I would never do that with my 2020 model. But then at the top it just has so much power that it's really not a big deal. It's like you can make your choice what you prefer, whether you prefer to rev the bike out a little bit more or whether you prefer to really have that bottom end grunt. But I would say that both are equally nice to ride for sure. Oh, and now we're getting into some Supermoto territory here with really tight roads and twisties. Let's see. This is too much fun, guys. I hope you can kind of get the feeling across through the camera. This is amazing. This is what I love. This is Supermoto, guys. This is Supermoto. And this is what the SMC Rs are made for. And the thing is, you don't need to even go that fast and you can have so much fun on these bikes. I think you guys can see that I'm really not pushing it. I'm just taking it easy. The engine is calm. you can have so much fun. Amazing little road here. Also a bit dangerous, but amazing. Unfortunately, there's quite a bit of gravel in these curves. So, like here, this is really bad coming down, and then ooh. So that's why, guys, I sometimes don't mind riding with the traction control on. Because that was coming from a downhill straight into gravel. That's not good. But still, you can't complain when you get a road like this all for yourself. Woo. And that was the front brake test. No problem. And the wheel coming up. Woo, guys. I can't tell you how much fun this is. I am done with just constantly saying how great this bike is. I think you get the gist. I'm really enjoying this ride. There are some minor things that I don't like. One last thing that I didn't mention is that I really don't see much in the mirrors, and that's not just because of the vibration, but my shoulders are constantly in the way. So yeah, in my case, I don't use the mirrors much anyway, so it's not a big deal, but something for you to consider. If you got any value out of this video, consider liking and subscribing to my channel. There's a lot of Supermoto and SMC R content coming, so hope you enjoyed, and peace.